Welcome back to Oscar's Old Gauge Trains. Hey guys, from time to time I constantly get compliments on how realistic my rock work is. And I tell you what, I totally appreciate all the kind words. And I try to reply to everybody the same. I thank everybody and say, hey, thanks for the kind words. I, I like them as well, but I've seen much better. So I kind of cringe when I hear realistic because I think there's a clear distinction between realistic versus believable. I think I fall way on the side of believable, but I think I kind of take the artistic licensing uh, way of just painting and shaping them versus prototyping. I'm gonna throw a picture up here, and this is kind of what I would consider prototyping. It's an example of what you'll see pretty much on every highway in Missouri. I started making what looked good to me, and I like the outcome of all my rock work here. 2 years ago, I loved it. Now I'm like, man, I wish I'd have went the prototyping route. So what we're gonna do here today is kind of cover two different painting techniques: the stiffle sponge technique, which is what I used to create my rock work, and then the leopard wash technique, which will help define and get us as close as possible to what you'll find here in Missouri. So rather than rambling on about it, let's jump right into it. Well, as you can see, I have two castings here. This one I'll do the stiffle sponge technique, and the second one uh, I'll do the leopard wash technique. Off to the left, I've got four different paint colors in these small containers. This first one here is like a dark slate gray. The next is like a smoky, lighter gray. The third, a little lighter. And then the last is the finish gray, which is the lightest. So let's move the leopard casting off to the side so we don't get any paint on it. And then let's go ahead and grab the paintbrush and put some full coat paint on there and just cover it all the way up. Don't worry about how much you put on there, just get a full covering, but try not to do any pooling. Keep in mind it's going to be a little ugly up front, but don't worry about that. This layer is just to make sure you get everything covered. I know you don't want to watch me paint this entire thing, so let's speed things up. Now, let's just let things dry. Now that the first layer is dry, you can see it'll provide a perfect shadow layer. This is where we begin the stiffle sponge technique. On this first layer, let's take a look at the sponge, and you can see it finds the little nubby details there. So let's just take the sponge and get it in that second lightest gray. Get it nice and soaked. But here's the thing. When you put the paint on, you don't want to use all of it. Look at that. That's too much paint. So you're going to want to dab some off so that that paint will eventually provide just enough paint for the nubby details to go onto the rock. Grab the rock and begin to stiffle it and begin just kind of twisting your wrist each application as shown there. And just continue that process over the next over the next two layers. And you'll be surprised how it goes from its ugly dark gray to the next eventual lighter gray. Let's speed things up again. Let's get busy with that next color and stiffle the medium gray on. And again, just grab some paint, dab some off. You know the routine. Grab the rock and apply the stiffle. I'm not going to watch all of this. Let's speed it up one more time. Okay, let's go ahead and put the last brightest color of gray on. And as you can see, it's kind of shaping up to kind of look like a rock. We're not even close to being done yet, but let's go ahead and apply this last bit and see what it looks like. Going into fast forward again. Not bad so far. So what do we have here? Burnt umber. Well, I tell you what, we're just gonna mix that with some water and prepare a wash. And ideally, all you're really gonna do is paint it up across. Well, you're gonna stir it first, and then you're gonna paint it and just wash the entire rock. And what that'll do is provide uh, a level of dirtiness to the rock, because no rock really is perfectly gray, so that'll provide some contrast. And as you can see, there's some pooling there, but ideally when you're done, you're just going to dip that in the water and be able to just in the high places where it's a little too brown, wash it down. Just pull down as you see me doing, and that'll provide the level of detail that you want, but also won't make those areas too dark. It'll just come out just beautiful. As you can see, I'm kind of pulling down the bright areas, providing a little more wash, and it's coming out pretty good. What do you think so far? All right, keep in mind you want to let every single layer dry. And as you can see, I have white, so you can guess what this is, the finishing dry brushing. And you want to apply some paint to your brush and get as much off as possible, because you don't want that to go on too strong. Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. A little bit more off. Ooh, still a little too strong. Let's see if I can get it right. And I think, yeah, there we go. And just go across the entire rock. And you want to do it really fast. Just quick back and forth strokes up and down so you can hit some of the higher details, like over here. Yep. Just do that over the entire rock. So I'm going to speed this up some because I don't want to take up much of your time. So let's hit fast forward. Well, there you go. What do you think so far? And if you're enjoying this content, like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll know when my new content has been released. Now let's do the leopard wash technique. But first, let's take a look at the rock face because we will have to plan for the color application by altering colors. This side here will probably be gray, and what you want to do is alternate on an interior angle with the lighter color. Just like in this crevice here, you want to paint that one gold, and then maybe look at the alternate side as all gray. And you just want to go through the entire face, rock face, with that same process. So let's start with that process now. You grab your little paint here and just kind of begin dabbing onto the rock face, and then just wash it down real good. Let's see. There we go. Oh, up shucks. I almost messed up. You want to spray down the rock face first with water. That way, it will allow the paint that you use, the wash that is, to soak in a lot better. Okay, let's try this again. You just go ahead and, like I said, paint on the alternate sides. And what I'll do, I'll go through this entire process just painting yellow in the cracks and crevices and then gray to get started. We'll speed things up here so we can go ahead and finish up this video. It's getting a little too long. Okay, now you want to come back with a secondary color, and what I'm using here, you can probably see in the upper right hand corner, is raw umber. And what you want to do is blend both the yellow and the gray together with the raw umber. Go ahead and spread it all the way across. Get it totally saturated, because the idea here is that you want to blend those two together. Once you got enough paint on, you can come back and dilute it a little bit, because you want that gray to be lighter, much lighter gray than the other rock that we did that you see above there. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward until we can, so we can go ahead and finish up with the highlight. Well, after everything dries up real good, what you want to do is come back just like the other technique and do some dry brushing. Get a little paint on that brush and take as much as possible off, and then go ahead and, just like the other one, dry brush real good across the entire face. Well, let's take a look at the final products of both techniques. Let me know what your favorite is in the comment section. As you can see, the shadows really came out really good. If you look at all of the areas there, and on the leopard wash, you know, the colors really blended after everything dried. You get a lot of the different yellow and brown hues there. Looks really good. What are your thoughts? Well, I hope you find this content helpful and it gives you the courage to go ahead and try your own. Thanks again for swinging by, and until next time, enjoy those layouts.